Martyrdom is one of the ways that God draws people to himself. God created and ordered the world in a way that the gospel goes out as testimony, as a witness. And thinking about the beginning of the book of Acts, you see this. But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem and in Judea and in Samaria and to the ends of the earth. We carry a message that people must respond to. Biblically and historically, the persecution of Christians is one of the ways God calls people to himself and builds his church. Now, lest this line of argument be misunderstood, this does not make martyrdom or persecution easy, but it does make it meaningful. It's no less sad that Charlie Kirk was killed, or that thousands of others are killed for their faith in the world today, and we don't even know their names. But it should encourage us to look for the expansion of the kingdom. One reason so many were returning to church even before last weekend is that they've become disillusioned with the promises of their previous beliefs. They took the promises of secularism to the bank and found an insufficient balance. People don't like to live without meaning, and as the progressive left has sought to tear down the cornerstones of the West, faith, family, gender, reason, free speech, all the other basic liberties, people are left grasping for something, anything, really, maybe even Christianity. I've listened to a lot of pastors who posted clips of what they said to their churches this weekend, and I've seen so many examples of faithful pastoring, sensitive, wise counsel, biblical application, and plain courage during a difficult week. One I was watching, though, made a comment about those in his church that find themselves on the left and offered comfort and a caution. At its best, some of the ideals of the left are very similar to the values of Christianity: justice, dignity, standing up for the oppressed and the marginalized, and skepticism about power. Unfortunately, though, many on the left have tried to pursue these values, not just without God, but to the exclusion of God, the work of Jesus Christ, and religion altogether. And this is a doomed project. But it struck me as a powerful insight into an opportunity for the gospel. One of our great apologetic tactics today is to show that the things we value, that list of virtues, for example, can't exist hanging in thin air. They have to be grounded in something. There's a growing consensus among Christians and non-Christians that these ideals have only arisen out of Christian cultures in the West. There's a reason that Western democracies prize the dignity of individuals and have enshrined their rights in constitutions and declarations. It's not a coincidence that the nations of the West rose up to abolish slavery, gave all people the right to vote, and protect values like due process, free speech, sanctity of life. If the fruit tastes mildly Jesus-flavored, it's because it grew in the soil of Christianity. The tectonic shifts going on in the West are alerting people to the groundlessness of their own beliefs. How can we preserve what we have? How can we make an argument for what we believe in? What is the hope, for example, of fending off radical Islam in the West in the next century? The classical liberal tradition is not enough. These are theological conversations. They require us to connect our beliefs with their foundation.